good evening, good life, good week, wherever you're at. This is Nolen-John, Zander with Habituating Happiness and the channel on YouTube, The 9 Elements. I'm going with the 9 Elements because that's going to be the name of the ministry, corporation, business thing. Has to be registered. If you look that up, if you actually find the terminology used many years ago, because they don't tell you what it is in Webster's. Registration means that you're making available for public sale. That is what registration means. To register, right? So what do you do when you put your kids in school? As I just mentioned, terminologies are going to be a big deal on this channel and in my work, as the United States is a corporation, as well as the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, which are separate, by the way, International Monetary Fund, IMF / United States Treasury, and a few other things of that nature. Well, I talk about the negative stuff, seemingly negative stuff, on a happiness channel. The reason I do this is to find the truth. Not a truth. I try to find the truth. The difference is a truth for me, or for an individual, is a belief. If I believe that a spoon is not a spoon, as in the Matrix movie, that's my belief system. If I believe that angels are real, that is my belief system. That is my truth. Okay? I spout these things to wake up people that might be curious about certain things, showing actual proofs that these things are in fact actual truths. So when somebody from Black Lives Matter or says they're from Black Lives Matter or any other organization that the left is promulgating, for lack of a better term, they are preaching from their truth and their belief system. I search for the truth as it is known as universal law. Pardon once again. I'm still on the same day as the previous video, but I'll put this out later. Algorithms and all with YouTube. My connotations and my mentions in all of my videos will be geared towards both the spirituality side and the discrepancies in the Matrix and the findings in my research on facts, such as Public Law 88243 is the Universal Commercial Code, which is the founding document of the Universal Commercial Code, was originally established from England about trade in India, which established all trade and commerce worldwide to include today. There will be more citations from American law on this channel to prove those points. Additionally, if you look at the Black's Law Dictionary, which is the dictionary they use for American law in the United States, which doesn't exist, but we'll get into that at a different time. The inside cover, so if you have a hardback book, you open it and the cover area where it's nice and pretty and all that stuff, it lists all the kings and queens of England. So the question is, why is an American law dictionary containing on the first thing that you see when you open the book, before you even get into the texts, the first thing you see is all the kings and queens of England. And the last thing you see also on the back side is all the kings and queens of England. Is it American law? Where is the Bar Association originally located? Is it a law license, or is it a number which you are a member to a certain club? These are the things you need to ask yourself, especially if you require, or they say that you require, an attorney. An attornor is to turn back over to. Someone who turns back over to. These are the definitions in the law books. These are the definitions in CJCS books. These are the books that the attorneys, attornors, and judges sleep on. They keep them in their studies. They keep them wherever it is that they do their work. This is a life that they have chosen. Now, I must say that when somebody goes in to find their so-called job, it's more than likely, if, let's say, for instance, you wanted to be a police officer when you were a child. It is likely because you wanted to help people. You saw some people doing wrong things and you wanted to actually help people. Same thing for a lawyer, same thing for possibly for a judge, and even for a doctor. You want to help people. But when you get into the profession, you realize pretty quickly that that's not how business is conducted. What do? You have bills to pay, probably have a child, a family of some sort. Want to make somebody proud, but that's an external viewpoint thing. That's not to be proud of yourself. It is what you've given the definition of that word to mean to yourself. It is your truth, not universal truth. It makes you feel good, so you can wake up in the morning without a heavy conscious issue persisting on your brain. This is the way that it is. This is the way it's always been, according to the people that wrote the history books, which are usually the victors of war. And the victors of war always write about their war crimes, right? Because if I won the war and everybody else is dead, I get to write whatever the hell I want to. When I am president, I can write whatever law deemed to be necessary, considering the fact that we've been a dictatorship / military rulership since Abraham Lincoln, or even before, if you want to go back further. We can argue that point. So, talking about the government of the United States and the world, talking about the Economic Forum, the powers that be, because the most evil and the most dire of circumstances usually comes from someone or something that is trying to do the best thing for everyone from their perspective. What they believe is the right thing to do is from their perspective and from their reality. My reality, for instance, if someone was making $20,000 a year and living off of that money somehow, I don't know how, has a different perspective on everything compared to somebody like Jeff Bezos, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, right? Andrew Tate, right? The millionaires and billionaires, well, I'd say billionaires and trillionaires of the world, are trying to make the world a better place from their perspective, because that's all that they know. If I was to say, I want world peace, how do we achieve that? Well, if I make $20,000 a year, I don't do anything about it. I might try to bring some sort of peace by calling the so-called peace officers, which their job is to protect and serve. It's written on their vehicles. But the question is, protect and serve whom? The public or the private? We'll get into the public and private later. So, $20,000 a year, I'm trying to break up a street fight to try to make some sort of local peace. That's what I can do. If I am Jeff Bezos or somebody like that, maybe a little bit higher up the chain, the people that are unnamed that are controlling people such as Jeff Bezos, people such as this, Bill Gates, for instance, trying to make a better place, a better humanity by forcing people to do something. For the betterment of all of humanity needs to do this. Now they're intruding on my liberties. When is it that laws can be ignored for the so-called idea that I need to do something for all of humanity, but I don't want to do that thing? When is it that liberty shall be ignored because somebody somewhere with their idea, their truth, their belief system says that it's required that I do this even though it tramples on my liberty? That is concern that should be at the heart of every bit of human existence. They're talking also about passports, digital passports. Fabulous job. Speed for going through something like an airport. You just have to have your phone on you, and it'll automatically scan and throw things around, and you can just walk through gates and stuff like that. They also track everything that you do, everything that you purchase, because you no longer have credit cards. It's all digital. It's on your phone. Everything that you purchase. Now we have a social credit score that they're talking about as well. That's also through your phone. What you purchase is a big deal now. How many times do you buy gas? What type of gas do you buy? What kind of fuel, what kind of hydrocarbon footprint are you putting into the world? Are you buying electricity? Do you have an electric car? When is it that you're going to get banned for having a social credit score that's too low to buy gas for your car? Because your digital footprint or your carbon footprint is too high based on some spreadsheet somewhere. Finding truth is of utmost importance to freedoms and liberties. it's very difficult to make decisions based on lies. If you cannot make a decision objectively, right, it goes back to contract. You cannot make a contract if you do not understand or comprehend the contract. It is called fraud. If both sides are not completely truthful in the contract, then the contract is based on fraud. Well, these things are written in the contract. Okay. They're written in the contract. The English language, whether you call that Queen's English, American, or any other than the original English language, which I will call actual English. So when a contract is written in American or the Queen's English, it is already a falsity. You'll have to go back to the original words and the syntax. It refers, if you pull out in the United States, Canada, possibly in Europe, I don't know, but Capitis Domino is when a man, capital M, which means mankind, loses all status and becomes basically a slave. So when your name is in all capital letters, they're referring to your alter ego or your straw man, for lack of a better term, in the United States. Some people know what that is. When they already label you as a slave, what rights do you really have? Is the question. When you go to court, what is the jurisdiction of the court? I'm interested in truth. Yes, the channel is about habituating happiness. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. But also, in order to find happiness, you must know, I believe, I must know what is the truth. So that I can discern for myself what I need to do because of my God-given, constitutionally protected right to liberty. That's it. How do we find happiness? I cannot answer that for you. I can answer it for myself. You have to answer that for yourself. In my book, Habituating Happiness, it goes through quite a few steps to find your passion, to identify that you are frequency. Everything has frequency. Ask physics. They're now saying that the brain, the human brain, is not a foundational physics-based computing system. It is a quantum computing system now. Quantum physics computing system. Is it a difference? Well, it must be. They put a different word on it, right? Actually, it is. And also, the brain is not the mind. They're coming out to understand or comprehend that the mind is within your general vicinity, so they say. So, lack of a better term, it's within your aura, is what they're truly saying. But in science, you can't say aura. You'll be blackballed from the community forever. So, the mind is not in the body. The brain is. That's a supercomputer. Just think of your mind as your personal local hard drive. Okay? The Akash, or what they call the Akash, would be an external hard drive, if you will, of a whole bunch of other information. But we won't get into that in this one. I'm still ranting about truth, if you can tell. So I'll be wrapping these things together in this channel as I try to put it together, or as I do put it together. And that's what the website, 9 Elements Ministry, is going to be about. There'll be separate websites. I got in the works chooseyourdivinity.com, 9elementsministry.com, which is the overarching umbrella. We have Choose Happiness with a 1 where the I is. We have choosetobesovereign.com. And these channels, as I mentioned, they will be under the 9 Elements Ministry umbrella. But some people are not going to be able to wrap their head around everything that I talk about. So I broke it up into the 3 other channels. I am not following the trend of pick a niche and stick with it to be the expert in that niche. I truly believe that it is my truth that all 3 of these go together. Finding your happiness, choosing your divinity, and finding your sovereignty are all the same thing. It's just, when do you stop niching stuff down? Right? Many people have the idea that they need a specific question answered, and they want to go to the expert for that question. And that's what it looks like it's going to. Well, I can't answer that question because I'm not qualified, or I don't have a license to do that, or go talk to so-and-so about that particular question. Even though it's still within my wheelhouse and I could very well answer the question, I'm not licensed to. I don't have that specific job description, niche, license from the government. I can only tell you about me, my journey. As most would say, that I'm an old fuck, or an old person. Which could be true to some, just because I'm older than they are. Which means I have more life experience, which has been, in the United States at least, frowned upon. Life experience is not something that people want to learn from anymore. Most of the colleges and universities in the United States are run by, educated by the teachers that are teaching things that they have not experienced in the real world. They graduate from the university or college and they go into a teaching mode where they're teaching the subject that they like the best out of that university, not experiencing life in general in the actual world. They stick with their micro world of university. Or they switch, right? They graduate LSU and then they go down the street and go to a different college or university. Maybe they go over to the East Coast and they are in Stanford or something like that, teaching something. But they're still in the university system, which is mostly left-wing because right-wing people like to get out and do things and actually make money and use the theories that they learned in school, which are kind of 3 years outdated at last estimate. I'm not saying right-wing and left-wing, either one is good or bad, because they're part of the same bird, if you think about it. I'm going to try my damnedest to stay within the middle way. To hell with right, to hell with left. What's in the middle? The pendulum swings both ways. But the pendulum, when all is said and done, stops in the middle. That is the way that I'm going to steer this channel and the other websites that I just mentioned. It's not about it's not all about politics. Politics get caught up in it because politics are in my business. Politics are in my freedoms. Politics are in my liberties. Politics is what tells people to do these things that you don't want to do, or that you should do because for the good of all humanity. That's politics. Just because somebody voted them into that position does not give them the privilege to tell me what to do. Unless, of course, you believe in Capitis Domino. So, there's the rant for the Choose to Be Sovereign channel and for Nine Elements Ministry, but I'm going to stop it there before I run too far down the rabbit hole and lose you all. And once again, as this is Nine Elements Ministry, even though it doesn't seem like it, I do want you to choose happiness. Good day, good week, happy Christmas, happy holidays.